Welcome to the Speaking Podcast. You can find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. My guest, he's the founder of Traders Foundation. Now, he's stopping people from gambling their savings, and also those that are looking at their laptops or their phones, watching everything for 8+ hours. I've looked at his Trustpilot and very good reviews, because that kind of usually tells you a lot, and it's like 99% were all positive. Which you'll always have somebody that's going to be complaining, but really, really good. So please welcome to the show, Vlad Tayman.
Hey, Roy, thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, I mean, I just by doing the research, like, I just like your style, because I was looking at a few of the videos and everything, and I actually started learning some stuff, because it was something that I always thought, don't get this, don't understand it. And I thought, wow, you've simplified this and you've explained it in a very good way. But so we'll touch on that. We'll go into the different kind of terminology in ways where people can understand it. But I just like to know a little bit about yourself, your kind of career, and how you got onto this.
No, absolutely. Would love to tell you. Before I get into that, I just want to honestly just tell you, I listened to a few of your podcasts, and some really inspiring things I've learned a little bit. So if anybody listening to this, give this gentleman 5 stars. He deserves it. It helps spread the word. So really, really would appreciate that. So, because again, it helps everybody. But I will tell you that the biggest thing I've seen in this industry, I've been in this industry for a while now, over 15 years. I had my ups and downs. And I will tell you, gambling is what people think this industry is. Gambling is, they think that it's timing the market. It's doing all these types of things. I will tell you, I've been around now for doing education for about 6 years. And the biggest fear people have is losing money. They're afraid that they're going to just go into the market and lose money. Now, I came from, I'm an immigrant from Ukraine. So coming here was a very tough task. So I really wanted to succeed. And I did in a corporate world where I've worked for 20 years. However, it took a big toll on me. A lot of anxiety, a lot of health issues. I mean, it got to a point where I couldn't function, put on a lot of weight. It was just not a good situation. So going through that, I realized I need to get out of a world where I was successful. I was a director. I was doing very well, but I needed to get out. And trading was a great way because you could do it while working. But if people are trying to trade and trying to day trade and trying to do all these complicated things, they lose money because you don't have the confidence to do it. So what I've done is I simplified the process. I was a director of training, so I know how to break things down to a simplest form. And that's what I did. I took something that's considered difficult, or finance and money and numbers. People just have these stigmas, or they had a bad experience. And I took that and said, you know what? People don't have the foundational knowledge. What if they actually understood that every step of the way what to do, and have somebody there to help them? And that's what I did. I created a program where anybody who's working hard, doesn't have the time, want to learn something they could make consistent. Not crazy amounts of money every day trying to go for, 150% gains, but a nice 10% per trade could be very, very beneficial. And that's what I teach how to do.
And like, I'm assuming what you're doing is you're educating the people. So you're not saying, hey, give me your money and I'll trade for you. You're actually teaching them the skills of what to do. Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, nobody's going to care about your money as much as you care about your money. And I will say, unless you're doing like a long-term, like a 401k, where you're doing like a mutual fund or, stock, but those types of trades, those types of investments, they're great. They're hands-off, and they are pretty safe, and you will make money. Almost everybody makes money on that. That's not that hard. The problem is the amount of money you make. On average, you'll make, if you're a good year, is like 5-6%, maybe 7%. Where that's not really a way to live. This is a hybrid of that. So what we do is we say, okay, look, we're not going to trade your money because many bad things can happen and you don't know what's going on. And that's how a lot of people lose money. They're trusting somebody else. They call them the fiduciaries. Now, those are good for the long term because long term, you're fine to make those 5-6%, and you should have money in that. But the money you want to make, let's just say 10 to 25% a month or per trade, you want to be able to be in control of that. And the reason people don't know is they never really learn. Because if you think about it, it's not the easiest thing to teach if you don't know how to teach. So there's a lot of great traders out there. They make money. A lot, like I don't think there's a lot of, yeah, there's scams, of course, but there's a lot of legitimately good traders that are sharing their knowledge as far as stocks. But they're just because they're good traders does not make them good trainers. And that's where people fall off. So they think they're following someone. For some reason, everybody's making money but them. Well, maybe it's because the fact that no one taught you the foundation. No one took the time to actually hold you by the hand, stay over your shoulder, and actually watch what you do and hold you accountable.
And I suppose kind of looking at what some people do, because what I've seen, I know of somebody, what they were doing is they were taking someone's money and they were trading all the time, constantly, because they were getting a kickback. And I was disgusted with that. Like, I was like, your man thought nothing of it. He was like making fantastic money while his client was losing money and he didn't care. So there's a lot of that. There's also, there's places where they're putting in their money and it might go down 10%, but they're still charging 1.5%, even sometimes even more, irrespective. So, like, as you say,
Yeah.
it's better looking after your own deck of cards because they really don't care as much as you will ever care.
Yeah, you're right. And I'll tell you, like you mentioned the Trustpilot reviews, right? Like we don't really force people to do stuff like that. We just organically got a lot of. We've had over 1,100 students, so some see it, some don't. But if you look at our reviews, and it's not just about the score. Yes, a lot of people give us good scores. It's the content. If you read what they say, 95% of people, they don't say how much money we've made. They say the education, the experience of having somebody there all the time. And when you break down the process, I'll tell you exactly what we do. I'll give you like the whole breakdown here. One, when you join our academy, because it's an academy, number one thing we've heard people tell us is, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Now that I'm here, I just paid this money. Do I click? Do I do? Nope. Clarity. We're going to have an onboarding specialist, somebody who's just going to be there for you. They're going to walk you through the whole thing, step by step. 2, coaching. Coaching is, people took that word and really just destroyed it. And what I mean by that, number one, like they say coaching could be like, in a group. Let's just say, like me and you are talking right here. This is very personal. You add 10 more people in this chat right now, it becomes a different dynamic. Now I may not share certain things with you because I'm a little embarrassed, and maybe I'm uncomfortable, maybe I'm introverted. Whatever it is, maybe I won't even have a chance. Group coaching is not the same as one-on-one coaching. But the reason companies do it is because it's easier. You only need one person to run a bunch of people. So it's easy to run. It's profitable. The results may not be so well. I tried it. And when I first started, first couple of weeks, we did like a little group coaching. What happens is people get on these sessions and they have too many questions after because you learn something. Same thing with courses. You could listen to a good course, but then you'll have 17 other questions. And that's where the problem is. So what we do is we assign you a coach one-on-one. And if you go with that coach, but you're also allowed to sign up for other coaches. Everybody has different dynamic. We tell you to try different things to really open up your mind. In addition, you may have questions during the week. Nobody wants to annoy a coach one-on-one every day. I get it. You have a coach that does group coaching, a mastermind meeting, in addition to your one-on-one coaching, where we go over stock picks, we go over all those types of things once you have the foundational knowledge. So we really make sure not just that you're a good trader, that you understand the strategy, which we have. We have great strategies called the Paycheck Collector, where you don't have very small risk, but it's about giving you clarity that you could do it on your own in the next 60 days, 90 days, whatever, however your schedule allows it to you. And we don't stop. In fact, we literally have a money back guarantee. So if you're not profitable, we give you all your money back. And that's in writing. And we've never had to use it because at the end of the day, if we show you the rules, we hold you accountable to those rules. That's the catch. You gotta actually follow the rules.
And one of the things that I think it was from the podcast that Eva podcasted a new podcast, but it was one of the person that is a coach had gone through it with you. So they've been trading for a while. Because what I want to let people know is sometimes not on trading, but on a lot of different things, I'd kind of be talking to people and their level they haven't a clue. And that's what happens sometimes. The people bring in and they just because, okay, we're going to charge someone and they give them a little book to read or a script to do. And when I saw that, I said, okay, that's brilliant because unfortunately, a lot of companies fail at that. So having somebody that's actually gone through the whole process because they'll know where the other person is, but they've the experience in it. And I think this is a fantastic thing to be doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some of the coaches we have. One of the things we do is, we've noticed there's a progression. And I'll be honest, to me, I like trading, but it's not my ultimate passion. My ultimate passion is to help. I like to help people. So I use trading as a vehicle, but eventually I wanted to contribute to others. I wanted to see other people grow. It just gives you, it's like the power of the soul, like you really want to do it. But so I love doing this for that reason. But we've had people who really were good at this and they wanted to leave their job. I'll give you an example. Erin, she's one of our coaches. Fantastic coach. Fantastic. She was a client. Elliot was a client. Leo was a client. Those are like three of our main coaches. They're all clients. They love what they do. Leo loved it so much. He became, he wanted to coach for free. He didn't want money. He had a business or whatever. Eventually he left the business, became a full-time coach. And now he's a cop as well. He always wanted to be a cop as well. So it's something he's doing. But Erin, she said, look, I'm done. She got fired from her job third time. And just because of a lot of layoffs. And she was just done with it. And she's like, I just want to do this. And now she's like our head coach of doing basically, our YouTube channel. Like she's involved with everything because people are passionate about sharing the knowledge, sharing what they have already experienced.
So one of the things that I was looking at some of the videos and you were kind of just explaining the metrics because not everybody understands it because unfortunately some people, they're handing over their money for somebody else because they think they'll know better. And you were explaining it like the candle and what the things to, you might just kind of touch on a few things just to kind of let people understand it a bit better and how you're able to actually simplify what people think is extremely complex.
Yeah, absolutely. So the general consensus is you got to watch the news. You got to figure out what's happening with this company and who's the CEO. All those things. If me and you just started talking about, let's just say Apple, and I'll tell you, well, I think the CEO is this. And you're saying, well, I think this. We'll get into this whole big argument. Okay. At the end of the day, it's still subjective. If me and you could really just be in an argument, it doesn't really work. Okay. So it's gambling. You're just guessing. That's all you're doing. The idea behind what we do is we go where the market moves. And institutions, they don't make money through timing the market. If you're trying to time the market, that's what you're trying to do. Have fun with that. You might guess someone, and I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not going to put my life on the line on it because you're never going to be perfect. There are specific indicators. Candlesticks, what a candlestick is just tells you the psychology of the market. And here's the cool thing. Some people are skeptical, right? They're like, well, how do I know that your stuff works? It's simple. Market's been around for 1800 years, since 1800, sorry. The patterns don't change. You could go to a time machine, which we have. We'll go back and say, okay, here's the pattern we looked at. This happens every single time. And we just play those specific patterns in a way where we know where institutions move. So, and there's also ways to play it where there's basically, it's safe. So even if it doesn't go your way, you still could make money. And what we've noticed is people like the idea of simplicity. Look, you have to wait over here. Here are 3 rules you follow. It's a pattern of moving where the institutions move instead of trying to figure out the market, trying to figure out what the company's doing. We don't care. We really don't care because the company could be doing, I'll give you an example. Netflix just had earnings. They killed it. They had the biggest amount of people join them ever. They went over the amount of expectations when it came to finances. Their PE ratio is great. They tanked. The stock tanked. Because it doesn't always move based on news. It's all just guessing. But it does go based on psychology of the institution. And that's what we teach. Couple patterns. Follow this pattern. It happens every time. I don't say every time, obviously,
Yeah, well,
but
I suppose that's a thing that's worth touching on because, sometimes people think, oh, you'll always get it right. And saw one and I thought it was good as well because it was like, should I put 10,000 into one stock because I think it's going to go right and I've watched all the metrics, or 100? And you might touch on that because sometimes people think, oh, I'll just do one or two and then I'm sorted.
yeah, emotions. So I'll give you another example here. So just think about, like, let's say if you're learning how to play golf. When you're playing golf, it's like I could show you every single move, right? Exactly to a T. I'll spend an hour showing you. You don't really learn until you touch everything, until you actually grab the golf club, swing. That's when even though I taught you everything, it's when you're in the weeds actually doing it. What we've learned is um, a lot of companies, a lot of places, what they do is they teach you a strategy and say go, and they assume you know what to do. That's just step one. We will show you the tools. We will show you the strategy. That's just the beginning. That's not even where we start. Where we start is, let's see you go at it. And little things come up. One is, like you said, emotions. People are afraid when to invest, how much to invest, and they hesitate because they don't trust themselves. That's why you have a mentor, someone over your shoulder saying, okay, let's break down what you're looking to do. This is where you start. Do not do this. Do not go over this. Let's see you go. And we won't let you trade real money for at least 45 to 60 days, depending on the person, obviously, everybody's different. But we want to see a pattern of success. And if you can't do it with paper money, you're not going to do it with real money. So we will not stop with you. Like our coaching, we don't put limits. Sometimes we used to do that. Horrible idea. We used to give you like 2 coaches sessions a month. Some people just need a coaching every day. It's unlimited. We want to make sure you succeed, period. There is no plan we have that you could get into that. It's limited coaching because it's going to give you limited knowledge. We need you to succeed. That's why we keep our reputation the way we are. So we will make sure that don't put $10,000 in until you have a reference point in your brain. So usually this happens. They'll start with small. We'll tell them whatever, depending on the person. Some people we have like, $700,000 in their account. So starting with 10,000 is not a big deal. For some, that's a big deal. So we'll say start with 3%, whatever it is. Do not go over even if you win. After 5 to 6 trades, when they see win, your brain now starts getting a little more confident internally. Then we start kind of looking at, okay, maybe we put a little more in. Eventually, you kind of start getting your own decision making. But it's a process. If you want to build a skill, it's going to take you a little months, just like any skill, you want to build. But the results are amazing because now you're self-sufficient. You're not going to have somebody convince you to trade for them and give you an AI bot because you're desperate, because now you have a skill for life.
And just that you mentioned the AI bot, because, I mean, I use it for the podcasts and stuff like that and in some of the businesses, but it lies a lot and everything. And I'm assuming people are putting in the details, assuming they're going to get the information from AI and probably have lost a lot of money as well. Because if it was that easy, everybody would just use AI and they wouldn't. Everyone can't win because that's not how the market works.
No. And, I look at some AI bots, the things that you just press a button and it trades for you. Phenomenal. One thing I will tell you, I saw one that was somewhat legit. They promised you like 2% a month, which wasn't huge, but it was, so I'm like, okay, they're not promising you the world. And the company seemed like a nice company. But when and they actually offered me to try, they wanted me to partner up with them. So I decided to, check it out. I joined a coaching session. And the guy told me, look, here's how it works. There's 17 bots we have based on the market. So you have to figure out which market it is. I'm like, okay, so do I set it and forget it? He's like, well, you set it for 2 hours and then you have to come back and check again. I'm like, what? Our clients, they just they put a trade in and then they put an exit strategy and they won't look at it for a week or two. Sometimes, like, this is harder than, I'd rather not even have a bot. Like, why? So he just gave me too much anxiety. Other bots, there's a company recently, if you look at ftc.gov, they've cracked down on a lot of them. There was a company, they did a bot for a little bit, and a news happened in April, big news, whatever, literally took out hundreds of their accounts just wiped all their accounts clean. And they said, well, it's the news. Obviously, that's the problem. If you don't have control, like who's gonna let a bot just do that? And if it did work, I think the government would get involved. Like if a machine's just manipulating the market just like that, But people want the path of least resistance, and I'll tell you, if that's you, you know, you, I'm not the guy for you. We want people who don't want shortcuts, who really want a skill set. Usually, it's the people who have careers because they know if people are making money in a career, they know how they did it. It was hard work. It took them years. We don't expect years, but we do expect 2 months of committed, you joining the coaches, you joining the lives, and really gaining the skills so you could have a consistent income and eventually maybe even replace yours.
And you mentioned they're having to check the thing every 2 hours. I have seen people stuck to their laptop, even at events. You go to the event and they're not really present because they were on their screen all the time. And I suppose maybe touch on that, because you can't be free if you're glued to your computer to watching every second.
No. So there are now. Let me just explain it. Like there's day trading. There's these trades that forex, crypto. Can you make money with it? Absolutely. I would lie to you if I told you no one's making money with it. But it takes a certain type of person and a certain type of desire. Some people like being in front of a screen. They love it. It's like the rush. Even if they lose, they're just that gambling, like, I want to do this. I'm cool, whatever. That's if you go online, you'll see all the kids showing their Lambos and all this stuff. Like, it's a different type of culture. That's not me. But people who are a little more humble, who are looking to do it the right way, and they have lives, they have kids, they have a career. They don't want to just give up a career. They want to see it work first. Then we do different types of trades. Institutions do not time the market like that. That's retail trading. What they do is they've set up they set trades that you're looking to go a certain direction, but if they don't, you should still be able to either profit or wait long enough for it to happen. So we do teach you how to time the market, but here's the psychology we use. If you time it right, you'll make the money in the next couple days, 3 days. If you don't, we'll show you how you could still make the money. You just have to wait 30 days. And all the exits are automatic. That's the difference. Yes, you do put the entry in, and we actually show you our entries. So that way it takes less time. We just want to make sure you learn it first. But then exits are all automatic. You could be working, in a meeting with your kids, and all of a sudden your phone goes beep. What was that? Oh, I just made my full profits. So it's a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler. It shouldn't be that difficult. If it's that difficult, I just don't think most people would do it, because they'll always be so set on their job, and that's what it comes down to. Because it's consistent. So we teach you how to get that consistency humbly. Focus on 8 to 10%, and don't focus on getting 50% per trade. That's how you lose.
And you mentioned kind of like the practice and maybe not just touch on your stuff, because I've heard of people, they use a system as if they're trading, but it's fake money, and they're working away and they're making massive returns. And then when they start doing it themselves, they lose everything, because I suppose the emotion gets involved. So what goes on with people that they do that? I know that you're teaching people how to do it, but there's a lot of people, I've heard of people doing that. They said they're very successful trading, and then when they start using their own money, they end up losing it. So there's a psychological thing, the fear of loss or something. I don't know what.
Absolutely. Yes. There is a strong fear of loss. One of the number one fear for people is, I will lose money. And that's why we do not recommend you just not doing anything, and that's it. Meaning, once you learn the strategy, you just do it on your own, because you're not ready to look at real money a certain way. So we've seen people paper trade, and they kill it. And I'm telling you, especially in the beginning, I was questioning our paper trading system, because people would tell me, look, your paper trading account, it's a lot easier to trade with. I'm like, okay, why? It's like, I don't know. It's just I'm always profitable, but the minute I do real money, I lose. So I called the company. I'm like, what's going on? I was like, no, it's the same. So I tested it. I did on both accounts. It was almost to a T the same, almost to a T. And then realize it's what happens is when you're doing paper money, you see you're in a loss, but you'll be in a loss. I get that. That is the one promise I could make. You'll see a loss on your account. People are okay with it in paper trading. They don't care. So they stick to the rules and that's it. But if it's real money, the rules go out the window. It's the emotions that kick in. That's where they need somebody to be there, hold them by the hand, say, "Duh, duh, 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 duh. I know you're down." Look, a lot of my positions, I'll be down. I'll show my clients all the time. We'll do our live, and I'm like, "Look, I'm down $3,000 in this position. I don't care." And then because I have a longer term, it could be. But then in 15 days, I'm up 2,500. Sometimes you have to let things play out, understanding that's why we set up a play. Every play we set up is in a way where we assume we're going to get it wrong and we protect ourselves. Never assume you're going to get it right. Always get it wrong. You should always have that game plan. So it should give you a peace of mind that if you see a loss, you don't just get out. Most of the time they will rebound if you follow the rules. That's, obviously we want everyone to win right away, and a lot of them do, but not always. You need to be prepared for that, and you need to be mentally understanding. A negative in your account does not mean it's down. Stocks do that. They'll go down, they'll go up. But the beauty of the stock market is you choose when to get out. It's your choice. So we teach you exactly how to set it up, and we stay with you and let you know. So you could join our live and say, or join your coach, say, "Hey, I'm in this position. I'm down this. What do you think I should do?" Stay, this, that. That gives them the peace of mind. And then eventually that's how you become self-sufficient. Like I said, there are no shortcuts. We take the brain and we kind of mold it into getting you to become a trader mentally and obviously technically.
And I saw as well that on what you were showing, you had like the waves showing that there's a few different metrics that you were doing, tracking everything so that you can see, even though it's going down, from previous history, okay, now this is showing that this is going to turn up. And I mean, to me, I wouldn't understand that. I wouldn't go in, it wouldn't mean anything to me, but you've got so many different metrics that you're teaching all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we teach you. It's actually not a lot of metrics. It's just it's just when you're seeing it from the outside, yes. But once we break it down, we've had people who, most of our people never even did stock market. They don't even know what it is. They don't even know what an option is. Nothing. We take you from the beginner. That's our motto. Is the people that don't want to deal with you because you're considered, "Oh, I don't know this." We want to help that person because a lot of them, they feel like they'll never be able to do this, so they're scared. And we help those type of people. So the big thing, how we like to look at it is like this. We put you through a situation where we see what you know, and then we continuously build up on that. And we want to see you, our thing is we want to see you lose. I want to, in paper trading, when we're simulating trades, I'd rather see you lose than win so you could learn. That's our big thing there. So, but yes, we have specific indicators that we need you to abide by. And that's why that's the reason, number one reason I have a return, a money back guarantee, because I've learned that some people are so scared, but knowing in the back of their mind that they have a money back guarantee, all I ask in return, just follow the rules. That's it. Don't break the rules. It sounds simple, but it's not, because what happens is a lot of the people will follow the rules and they'll get usually about 7 to 10 trades in, they get this false sense of confidence because you could modify the rule a little and double the profits. And they think, well, yeah, that's so easy. I just fix this little thing and double the profits, but you're doubling the risk. And that's when things go wrong. You follow the rules, you'll be fine. If you don't follow the rules, they're there for a reason. So people either follow them, but a lot of them will say, no, they're not for me, and let the market teach them. It's up to them.
And what way is your system working? Is it a once-off payment, or is it a monthly payment system that the people that are joining you?
Oh, we have, as far as we have different plans. We tried, like I said, we've been in business for 6 years. We're more like a real, we took I actually looked at Yale University. I think we looked at a few different things and how big universities, what do they do to get people in, right? So Yale was a little bit more like, we don't care. We want the best of the best. If you can't afford it, kick rocks. But then you have schools that are mid-tier that want to help, that are good schools, but we want to figure out how do we get anybody who really wants to learn in. So We have obviously people just pay up front. Great. Sometimes people need a payment plan. Some people we work with everybody. We try to figure it out. Our main concern is not, I would say our main concern is, are you a student willing to learn? Because we know if that's the case, if we give you like maybe a nice easy monthly payment, it'll pay off by itself in 60 days. You'll start making more money than that anyways. But we're very, very picky on making sure you're not here for shortcuts, because we'll talk. And what we do is we do a whole strategy call with you. So we'll interview you. We'll see, one, you could ask questions about whatever you want. We want to make sure this is for you. We'll see your lifestyle. We'll see what you're all about. See if this fits for you. But my main concern is, are you humble? Are you a gambler? And are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be a student? Are you open-minded, or are you going to come in here telling us you know everything? Those are the people that fail. And we don't really, that's why you see our trust bias the way they are. We don't let you in. We are like a gated community, man. Because one-on-one coaching, the biggest thing is it's a tough racket, because I only have so many coaches. So it's not like I could let in a bunch of people. So we're very picky who we let in. It has to be a certain type of person. So if there's somebody who's willing to learn, wants to really put in the time for the next 60 days to really get it and stay with us and be part of the community, great. If you want to learn day trading, or if you want to learn a little AI bot, or just get stock signals, yeah, we'll give you signals, but that's not what we do. We want to teach you. We want to build you up as a human being who understands investing psychologically and wants to be their own person and have something they could rely on, and maybe give it to their kids. If that's not you, we'll let you know right on the call, this is not for you.
And, when people can do their own pension in America, is it a rate, REAT or something? Are people kind of doing some of their pension funds in this as well, or
all the time?
Yeah.
I think so. I'm saying, like, recently too, 50% almost, like, a lot of retired people come to us. And here's why. Number one, the retirement account is not paying like it used to. People can't rely on it, and that's a lot of anxiety. That's number one. Number two, they're afraid to give money to people. People take advantage. So they want to learn, but they're afraid that people are, they're scared. A lot of them are elderly, and they don't feel like they'll learn. That's where they like us, because it's like, okay, look, if we can't teach you, we'll refund your money. It's in writing. Everything's in writing. I'm telling you, I've never had to give money back. We will not stop. We are very determined to make this work for anybody, because we'll know on the interview if you're not the right person. We'll know right away. We'll know because if somebody's just like, well, I'm not good with numbers. I hate putting money in. I don't. Okay. But if somebody's like, no, I really want to do this. I have this much money. I want to make this work. I want to learn, but no one's giving me the time of day, and I feel like I'm dumb and I'll never get it. That's what we want. I'm afraid to lose money because I'm not smart enough, and I don't want to hit the market because I think it's gambling. That's what we want, because we're going to work with you. We're going to hold you by the hand and make sure you get this.
And not your obviously best result, but average, just kind of what kind of, irrespective of the amount that somebody's trading, but percentage wise, what kind of returns are you kind of seeing?
Well, returns all vary, honestly. Like, it's I don't like giving specific numbers because it's still trading. So results may vary. Our potential is always this. We show you a lot of our trades are capped. So it's not what you're thinking, like, oh, you just have to time the market. A lot of our trades are in our paycheck collector, meaning you're going to make the money up front, and you know how much you're going to make right in the beginning. And the probabilities is what we play on. So our trades, it's not my numbers. It's not like, oh, I'm giving you this. It'll tell you have a 93% chance of keeping this money. You'll make about 8 to 10% on this trade. You have 93% chance of winning. So those numbers, it's all there. You just have to connect the dots, boom, 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 and you're good to go. If you don't, if you just try to get a higher percentage, then you lose. But our goal, if you could get 8 to 10% per trade, again, like I said, results vary because based on how you set it up. But if you follow the rules, that's what we're looking to do, 8 to 10%. If you time it properly, you could get out of that trade in 2 to 3 days. If it didn't go your way, you might have to wait 30, 35 days.
And like, because I have the crypto and I hear of so many different scams of all the different things that they do. In this, what should people be aware? Because there's always people trying to grab your money. What things, what typical scams are out there that people should be aware of?
So I trade options. Okay. I love options, I think, but the stigma is options are dangerous. And I'll tell you what it is with options. There's ways to trade options that is incredibly cheap. I could show you literally how you could spend maybe $15, $20 on an option and you could make about $5,000. And it sounds great. It's very marketable because it's true. You could do that, but you're chasing. The chances of it happening, almost none. Like you have to, it's like you think it's going to do it, but it's not. We're not looking for that. So depending, you got to be careful with a lot of these like trades that are weeklies or zero DTE trades. These are trades that could go in your direction.
What's DTE? Because I'm not familiar with
zero. Basically, a trade that expires in one day. You have one day to make it work. They're cheap and they're profitable, and that's where this is where people get confused. They'll see people make like 150%, 200% gains in one trade. Is it real? Yes, 100%. It's not fake, but they're not. We get the people who say, "Yeah, I saw that, but I lost," because those people a lot of times will have that all the time. We go, "Yeah, I made 200%, and then I lost 700," because you have to time the market so perfectly. I can't do that. I am not telling you I'm that good. I'm pretty good, and I will make some. I've tried it, and I've done some good, but I did lose. After out of 4 trades, I lost 1, but that one took out all my. I'm like, okay, yep, I tested it, not for me. I get upset, man. I get upset when I see things like that happen. So it's just you can't time something so perfectly. So anything short term, no good. It's got to be a longer term kind of options, and there's different ways to do it. And the other thing is selling on naked stocks or naked options. Very dangerous. This is something a lot of people are doing. It's called selling puts. Basically meaning, you're buying a premium and you're collecting money up front. But if it goes wrong, you could owe money on top of what you lost. So these are different ways people are marketing, saying these are great ways to make money because it's marketable. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you there are no shortcuts. We're going to show you strategies that if you put more money into it, it's going to keep you really safe. I'd rather you invest a little bit more, but where you don't have to chase as much, and you'll make a little bit less, but it's going to be consistent instead of these crazy, crazy results that you nitpick. Go through, if you go to my website, I have tons of testimonials. If you listen to them, they're all interviews of our students. I mean, we haven't even posted like 100. We just found 109, I guess. We have like a thing where people upload it. I didn't realize that. They all talk about the same thing. None of them talk about, oh, but look at this trade I made 150%. They love the community. They love that they're being supported with every trade. And yes, we have people who've made, a certain amount of money, like 10,000 in a couple weeks, and things like that have happened. 6,000 in a week. We had this guy Shrey do it, but I consider it lucky. Or they're playing with a bigger account. So I would not. Number one thing I would say is don't worry about other people's results. You don't know what they're doing, and you don't know what results happen after that.
And your podcast then, because I believe it's just launched, just like 3 episodes.
Yeah, just launched.
Yeah, so you might just tell people what it's called and what you're covering on it.
Yeah, it's a Trader Foundation, just like the name of the podcast, and it's really going to be about our coaches. So we have some amazing coaches. So we're gonna have all the coaches there, Aaron, Leo, Elliot. Just talk about our outlook on the market, our what we think, different psychological aspects. We're going to talk about technical indicators, but just overall, really break it down and talk about the elephant in the room. Things that are like the fear of losing money, the fear of, hey, you're telling me I could leave my job. Yeah, right. I have a salary. You're not going to give me no salary. How do we deal with that? And how do people in our community have done it? We'll also have some clients that are going to join us to talk about their scenario. So there's a lot coming, man, a lot coming. But it's really what we've learned is people they're tired of the BS. They're tired of hearing the same thing. Oh, this person has made this much money. Let me show you how to do it. They just want somebody real. They want to know, hey, let's talk about the fact that I'm scared to do this, that I'm not smart enough to do this. These are their limiting beliefs. Let's focus on why and let's break those down and tear the walls down and do it the right way and actually build their foundation.
And what about, because I see it with crypto, because that's what I'm kind of following and stuff like that, but I presume it's the same in that people, they'll see someone in TikTok or Instagram and they're saying, you have to do this because, and people are jumping in thinking, and well, in the crypto market, is sometimes they're involved in it and they're really pumping this to put a marketing budget to get it out there, and they make money, but the rest don't. I presume it's the same in this world, that people are there.
Absolutely. Yes. And this is where they come to me. So I have a community that that I host as well in our community. And all the stocks that we pick are always the ones that are like boring. They're not doing much. And here, the way you got to look at it is, this is what you're used to. There's a party going on, right? Imagine there's a big party, so many people, and somebody calls me, dude, there's a huge party. You gotta come. You gotta come. Huge? Let's do it. I want to do it. Okay. I get there. I drive all the way there. I get to the party, and guess what? Bro, we're already leaving. But I already paid for the ticket. Yeah, but we're already leaving, bro. What happened? What happens is, it's kind of the same thing. When you hear about the party, the stock's already inflated. It's already inflated. So what happens is, all the buyers that got in properly made the money. You're getting in because of FOMO, fear of missing out. And now all of a sudden you're just like, man, how come every time I get in, it goes down? Because you're listening to the times when it's already late. What you want to do is look at an indicator that shows you, hey, this stock, we don't look at stocks that are going up. We don't, those are, unless we're looking for them to go down. Then we play those. We don't care about that. If they're already up. I called it the other time, crypto. It was somebody asked us it was on my Instagram, Bitcoin. And it was like to the top. Recently, it was silver. And they're like, bro, what do you think, man? Get in? I was like, bro, yeah, to the downside. And they're all looking at me, come on, man. You're just being negative. And then they all tank. I was like, you see, I told you. But there's ways, specific indicators that'll show you, look, it is beginning to start. This is when you get in. The minute that thing clicks over here, that's the start of the move. You want to be in the start of the move, not the end of the move. And that's where people go wrong. They're reactive to the volatility when they could have been proactive before it ever started. And it's cheaper, way cheaper to get into that because nobody believes it. And it's been the same thing for years. It's just everybody falls into the same trap. Let's get into what everybody's talking about. Now, how come not everybody's rich?
What about people then that are kind of tracking, say, Pelosi? Because she's got better returns than Warren Buffett, like so.
But here's the thing, Roy. Like you said, like the people who are telling you to get in, are they stupid? They're the smart ones because they probably got in at the time I'm talking about, and they said, "Okay, how do we accelerate it? Let's tell everybody to buy it now. Let's tell everybody to buy it now, so we could get rich," which works. And then when it tanks, they've been out. Nobody cares about the people. The people that helped you get rich right now are the ones suffering. Because now all the smart people are selling it off, and you're taking all the losses. There's a lot of manipulation like that, especially in crypto, because crypto's 24/7 and it's volatile, and that's the beauty for the gambler system. It's like, unless you get into it and like you stay there, like a Bitcoin, whatever, and you just leave it, yeah, you could make money. But if you're just going to be worried about what happens overnight every time and 24 hours a day, it gets crazy. Some people, obviously, they like it. That's cool. But I've seen a lot of people in our community, crypto and Forex are the big ones, where they tell me, yeah, man, I made big money, but then I lost it all the next day. So there's just a lot of those waves going on. But the good news is, all of them are the same. Like what I'm telling you, same thing happens in the options world, stock. They're all the same. People think it's different. So they're all the same. I just chose options. I like options for different reasons, for the strategy. But crypto, you could make money. We've had people who love crypto. They don't even like options. We just teach you the foundation, and we give you options as a week. A lot of people join us. We had this guy, Chris Capen. He liked it. He loves crypto, just loves it. Okay. He was just not profitable with it. He took our course. He's killing it in crypto now. He's like, yo, I just use the same psychology. Trading psychology doesn't change. Supply and demand does not change. Human behavior of how we trade does not change. They're all the same thing. Once you learn the skill, you could pick a vehicle. But don't think changing your vehicle is going to change your results. If you're not successful with one, you'll just transfer it over to the other one.
And with the coaches, then I presume you like because short time calls as well. It's not just an hour or something like that. Because I just know from the podcast coaching, like sometimes I give people in my WhatsApp, somebody wants to jump on a quick call because not necessarily they have to be an hour. So I presume there's short times as well. Is there, or what's the kind of strategy when they're?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as for coaching?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. No one ever asked that question, but it's very forward thinking of you because most people will never think about how do the coaches work. So we usually give you like 45 minutes with a coach. You could schedule multiple times. Will they be like that on demand? No. So two things you could do. One, if it's a quick question, you could always text them through our app. You text them, you say, hey, here's my issue. They'll answer back with like a Loom, like a video if they need to. Or I'll say most people don't really do that. What they like to do is they know we're going to go live once a week, once a day, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going live. So they'll just wait to join there. Or they'll ask their coach, hey, on the live, can you go over this? I'm working, but I'll watch it. So it's always available. That was the way, because it's just unrealistic to, hey, have 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It becomes a mess for scheduling and it just doesn't work. So we want you to schedule every week so you have discipline. But in addition, you have somebody you could talk to every day live through a group. And people like the mastermind version of it because they already have their one-on-one coaching. Now they want to hear from other people. So it's a good dynamic. Or just we have a discussion board so you could just ask your question there. There's a lot of, so we've tried what you're saying, Viv. It's just no one ever booked. It's like they want the longer session for their big question, and the shorter questions they'll ask on their group session, so they could not just hear from the coach, but from other people in the program who they want to communicate with, and have like a little network.
No, that's a good strategy. Because, like with me, if somebody was writing with WhatsApp, I'd do a voicemail back on the thing. But I've also a school group, and I have a Q&A, and I say every Tuesday I do a live call, and I cover the stuff, and there's fantastic engagement in the community, so I can see how beneficial that is. Because as you say, like some people, they'll write it in, and they don't want to be actually putting up their hand and asking in front of people because everyone's got their own level of shyness as well. So it's
absolutely. No, absolutely. And again, we protect the community. If we're very big, I'll tell you, I don't want to lie to you, but it's the truth. Like we've never had a problem when it comes to the fulfillment of our product and the people. I've been very, very all 6 years, like never really had an issue. We've had good people. Again, I think if part of it is because of our interview process. I came from the corporate world. I've developed a lot of people in my life as a trainer, so I know what to look for in a student. So that was one thing I was very big on. Like, look, it's an investment, but we're gonna make sure you're the proper person. We're not just gonna let you in and basically tarnish the brand, because I've seen that in the corporate world. People like I used to work for a company, big corporation, Fortune 500 company, and they started letting third parties sell them so they could scale. Tarnish their whole brand because everybody did it differently, and there's some bad clowns out there. So we're very, 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 very careful and with who we let in. Like you got to pass the interview for us to let you in to make sure you're the right person. And we've been very successful. So that's why a lot of people like it. Now they're all, now we're trying to get a group together because everyone's asking. So we're all going to be like physically going to have an event that we're going to host so everybody could meet, and, we'll do our own sessions and go live on the market, and it'll be fun. So you're invited, Roy.
Thank you very much. Oh, excellent. No, that's it. I mean, as I mentioned, I looked at a lot of the videos. You're sharing a lot of information like on YouTube and I think Instagram.
Yeah, our YouTube now is really getting big. So Erin, our very good coach, it's fantastic. She's very adored. She's all in with us now. Like she's like, look, I want to do this. I make money. She shows her results of the actual account, not just whatever. But she's going to be coming out with some very powerful videos on how to trade, what to do. If you're not on our YouTube channel, Google Trader Foundation YouTube, or go on YouTube. Look at it's going to be pretty big right now.
Excellent. I'll make sure I'll put the link of that. But is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to touch on?
No, I think you covered a lot of these things. What I will say is, if anybody's really, the one thing I think maybe we didn't cover is people are very skeptical of this field, man. They're really, really, really skeptical. People just think trading, oh, it's just another gambling. It's just a scam. You know, I would strongly recommend, understand that, look at the whole field, and it is very scammy, but you really have to break down what it is. And a lot of people don't. Any shortcut, anybody tells you, I'll trade for you. We've had people do that, and guess what happens? They lose. People, we had a gentleman, I don't want to say his name, but he was a computer programmer. He gave somebody $922,000, and they put it in an account, supposedly, and they were trading his account. They said they're going to make him all this money, and they kept asking for more money, and it was growing in his account. They showed, but he couldn't take it out and they asked him for more. 60 days later, they disappeared. It was a fake account. Well, they didn't even. So people fall into these traps. Here's what I will tell you: if you're looking to get into trading, do not take shortcuts. Learn it yourself. If it doesn't have to be me, but I will say, if it's not a one-on-one coach who's had some results, be very wary. You want one-on-one coaching. You want somebody with a system that actually been proven and has results. And that's the most important thing. And somebody with a good backing. If you don't have that, be wary, just save your money and just don't do it. That's what I would tell you.
No, and I mean, as I mentioned at the start, I learned a lot from just looking at the videos, the way that it was explained. So I think just by checking out your website, they'll see the different videos and they'll be able to determine themselves. But I know from Trustpilot, because I mean, a lot of the different things I do, when somebody shafts me, I go into Trustpilot, but also when somebody looks after me. And you can't fake that because they're watching that as well. Like, so that's a great result that you've got. And it's very rare to see such a high rating on that.
No, I appreciate it. It's funny, you talk about the Trustpilot. We actually had a guy who gave us a very good review. And then he ended up having some personal issues. And it was crazy because you'll see it. We have a 1-star review.
I saw it. I actually saw it. He gave a 5-star, and a few months later he gave a 1-star. And I know, I could see just by looking at that was an emotional thing from him. There was something going on in his life that.
Well, he lost. Yeah, whatever. He lost. He's had some. I don't want to throw his stuff out, but he had some personal issues, and he wanted us to refund the money like 7 months later after he was finished with the course. He took all the course, everything, and I'm like. It's things. So you could still fake Trustpilot, I guess, in that way. But it's like he has 2 reviews on there, the good one and the bad one. I'm like, okay, pick one. But yeah, those things. I mean, we try our best. We do have an A+ Better Business Bureau accreditation. That's a big one for us. They're tough. They will not. So if you go to bbb.org and look up Trader Foundation, we've A+, which we take that very seriously. Again, and it all starts with that call. So if that's something you're looking to do, and if you really want to see if you want to become a student and become profitable and get yourself a nice strategy that you could work with and have a coach that's going to guide you along the way and really use the community, I because of your podcast here, I know I've watched a lot of your stuff here. You have some good people. You have a very, very good following. So I set up a link for you where you could book a strategy call with us. Here's the difference with what we did for you guys. Once you book your strategy call, we immediately give you access to my full course. It's called the Stock Predator course. We'll give you foundation, the technicals. You'll see how our strategy works, all at no cost. So that'll come right after the strategy call, go right into their emails for anybody who's listening to this podcast.
No, excellent. Yeah, no, appreciate that. So you might let the listeners know where they can find you.
Yep. So if I'll give you, so I actually made a link, trader.foundation/ and it's gonna, I think it's gonna, I forget what I put. I think Brain Gym, something like that.
Okay. So I'll put it in the links both on the audio and the video anyway, so people can click.
Yeah, if you click on there, that's just for this podcast. You join, and then you get the full. Like I said, we'll give you the free strategy call. You'll fill out some information, get the strategy call, and it's already set up where you'll immediately get your Stock Predator course right texted to you or something like that.
Okay, excellent. No, perfect. And I'll make sure I'll put all the links along with your YouTube as well as your podcast, because I think, let's get
Yeah.
that one growing.
It's still good. It's still new, but give us some time. But definitely, Joe, I would love to see you on there. And like I said, man, I hope you guys give this gentleman a 5 stars, man, because he works hard for this podcast and it's really, really valuable.
Thank you very much. So that's all for the Speaking Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. Scan the QR code, you'll find my 6 podcasts, and go to roycollin.com with everything I'm doing. If you're looking for virtual assistants, go to va.world. As he said, give a 5-star rating and maybe share with 3 friends. But what you do is when you check out Vlad's podcast, especially since it's new, it'll really help, do the same. Until next week, take care.